Hello, everybody. Long time no talk. Um, I grew out my hair, shaved my face, and I kind of took a break for a little bit, but I wanted to come back today to talk about some stuff I was researching, and hopefully you guys find it interesting too. So, for today's video, I wanted to talk about cholesterol skews and how you can potentially fix them. But before we get into that, I want to remind everybody I'm not a doctor and I'm not a chemist. I'm not your doctor. I do not encourage the use of any supplements or drugs. I often just talk about what I've researched, what I've been able to find, what other people have researched, because, sometimes it's better to just have experts explain stuff to you than have to dig through every single thing. But without further ado, let's talk about it. So, cholesterol skews if you eat excessively, if you have a genetic propensity, or if you are on certain medications, or if you're on anabolics, can be negative. So, what do I mean by negative? In the most basic sense of cholesterol skews, because this is a hotly debated topic, I would say having high LDL cholesterol and low HDL cholesterol is a bad skew. Now, it's heavily debated upon because there's things like ApoB, which I do not fully comprehend and I don't want to speak on. And then there's different types of LDL where they're technically of different densities. Also, I should clarify LDL and HDL are technically not cholesterol. They're the things that kind of like hold cholesterol, which changes their um, kinetics, like how they move through the body. And so now that that's out of the way, if you have high LDL and you have low HDL, what are some ways you can improve it? One of the best ways that I've found at lowering HDL, for me specifically, because a lot of my poor cholesterol skews come from my diet, is actually having more fiber with every meal. So I like having psyllium husk, name brand Metamucil, but I just use like the Costco stuff or, whatever I can get my hands on at the time. You can take it in pill form. I often just do the scoops because it's cheaper and you get more for it. I also have the pills for when I'm traveling. But you just take that with some water. You can have it non-flavored with just sugar, or you can have it with the orange flavoring is the most common. And I find that that has been very good at lowering my LDL cholesterol. It actually got my LDL cholesterol within healthy range, which it used to not be within healthy range. Now, HDL is more difficult for me. I've been trying to improve my HDL cholesterol by using citrus bergamot. It also helps to lower LDL cholesterol as well. But on my next physical, I am going to get that tested again. And hopefully, the citrus bergamot helped to change my cholesterol. Or, sorry, not my next physical, my next blood work round, which I believe I need to schedule, actually. It's a few months ago that I scheduled that for. Or I should have scheduled that for, I should say. Other things that have been purported to help with cholesterol, but to be clear, citrus bergamot has been purported to help. From the research that I had seen, it looked overall beneficial, but again, it's a supplement, it's unregulated industry. It's not going to be surefire like a statin or like I think it's called, crap, I can't remember. I think it's called ezetimibe. There's one drug that allows for a lot of cholesterol transfer in the gut. That's very helpful at lowering cholesterol. It might not be ezetimibe, but regardless, I'm not a doctor, so you should probably not listen to what I'm saying anyways. But then obviously statins are like a very beneficial and helpful drug. They're, a potentially life extending drug for people who are unhealthy. But there is some arguments against statins. Some people, when they look at longitudinal data, will say that being on statins did not actually significantly extend life or improve quality of life for persons who took it. I don't know much about statins as far as their specific longevity promoting effects. I do know that they're good at lowering quote unquote bad cholesterol. But depending on the statin, especially the older statins of like the 1980s, they can be very hard on the body. And some people are even more predisposed to getting type 2 diabetes when they're on statins. So that's just something to be wary of. That's definitely one of those reasons you want to like talk to your doctor about it. Then other things that can improve HDL and LDL cholesterol, obviously there's just changing around your diet. Having like not saturated fats is pretty important, and not trans fats, obviously. But you shouldn't be having trans fats ever, because a small amount of saturated fat is good. There is some evidence that certain types of saturated fat are okay. Like they recently did some more studies on the health promoting effects of whole milk versus skim milk and 1% milk and so on. And basically, they found that the results were pretty inconclusive. Now, when they did the same testing for red meat and butter, it was pretty clear that the saturated fat isolated in those was actually very detrimental to overall health and heart problems. Cholesterol, excuse. So I can't speak on that for certain, but generally speaking, I would say that, certain types of saturated fat are not as bad as others, specifically when you have it in the form of whole milk. But that's another video that I'm going to be talking about later down the road. I'll probably film it today, but who knows? Maybe I get delayed. So other things that can help to improve your cholesterol skew are having polyunsaturated fats, to my understanding. One of the ones that's most recommended is using olive oil instead of butter or margarine, because olive oil has some effects that help. Again, not a doctor, nutritionist, or dietitian or anything like that, just a dude on YouTube. Other things that can help, like I said, fish oil is kind of mixed results. There's technically red yeast rice, which is... It's just a statin, essentially, that you can buy on your own through supplements. But again, anytime you go the supplement side, it's unregulated. You have to be more wary. You could be getting underdosed, overdosed product. You could be getting... I mean, sometimes there's certain like muscle building supplements that just straight up contain steroids in them because they dusted them with steroids so that you get a bigger effect when you start it. And then obviously there's proprietary blends, which I won't go into that rant again. But it's just important to know when you're taking supplements, they might not be as beneficial as actually going the pharmaceutical route, but that's definitely something to talk to your doctor about, especially if this is a big concern. The biggest thing to do is if you are eating in an unhealthy food pattern, it's really best to change that. And try and reduce the amount of saturated fat you consume on a daily basis. To my understanding, given that it's not whole milk, but for all I know, I'm very wrong about that, and your doctor will say whole milk is terrible. Don't drink whole milk. I don't want to give too many dietary recommendations because I'm not really recommending it. I'm saying what a doctor might tell you and what you can expect when you go to your doctor. There are a lot of other supplements that supposedly help with HDL and LDL, but the biggest ones I've heard of, again, are fish oil, red yeast rice, citrus bergamot, and then there was that whole trend where they were doing niacin or vitamin B2, but I actually tried having a mega dose of vitamin B2. I believe it's B2, niacin. And they always said never get the no flush niacin. You want the high dose niacin. And I had not an allergic reaction, but a terrible reaction. So my whole body swelled. I turned bright red, and all of my skin started filling up. And like if I bent my wrist like this, it would fold. It was insane. I had to call the ambulance, or my girlfriend called the ambulance because we thought I was having an allergic reaction. Because people online recommended using niacin to help with cholesterol levels. So naturally, I was like, stupid enough to try and use vitamin B, niacin, to help me with that cholesterol issue. And um, those upper echelon dosages really messed me up. I didn't slowly increase it because I had heard of people doing this method so many times that I was like, okay, it's pretty innocuous. You're not likely to get many side effects because your body knows what to do with it. It's a vitamin, but I just got extreme whole body flushing. And I was starting to panic too, so my throat felt like it was going, like, closing because I was so, excuse me, my throat just felt like it was closing because everything in my body was swelling. It was a terrible reaction. Ambulance came, everything was all right. Went to the hospital, and by the time I got there, the reaction had basically stopped, and I threw out the vitamin B. So that also just calls into question, did I take vitamin B? I mean, most likely I did because full body flushing is possible. But did I actually take niacin? Probably, but you also have to be careful because for all you know, you're having the supplement and it's been dusted with peanut, some sort of peanut product, and you're allergic to peanuts and you have a terrible reaction. You know that's not going to happen in the pharmaceutical world because they would get sued to oblivion. So there's just a major quality control issue of supplements, considering that they are so unregulated. But if your doctor recommends you trying a softer path with supplements, by all means do it. And yeah, I would say that fiber definitely helped me to reduce my LDL cholesterol. And generally speaking, losing weight also just helps with cholesterol skew, but I think that's pretty common knowledge at this point. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you later.